While significant strides have been made in the field of interreligious dialogue on inclusion, women's participation and involvement in interreligious dialogue activities is still an exception and not the norm. In the north-central part of Nigeria, by providing trainings and leveraging communication technologies, Local Action Fund has helped build bridges between women across Christian and Muslim faiths. More importantly, the Local Action Fund has encouraged women to take leadership role in addressing the long-standing conflict between Agatu farmers and Fulani pastoralists.
In the north-central part of Nigeria, it's called Benue State. For over 5 decades, there's been the indigenous settlership politics, and over the years, it's actually deteriorated to Fulani pastoralists and the Agatu farmers, and that conflict has spiraled into several genocidal clashes, with funding coming from the LAF, run by Peace Direct, and it partnered with Hanan Youth Initiative on the Tri-Center. Tri-Center is the Tatanawa Roundtable Initiative. What we did was to bring together ZAMAN LAFIYA women as an informal group of women that work together to promote peaceful and harmonious coexistence between pastoralists and the diverse agricultural communities. Basically, the idea of the program was to provide training for these women in building strong community cohesion, understanding their faith, and looking at the issues at that grassroots level. We also tried to bring trainings in conflict dynamics beyond religion, beyond ethnicity, which were barriers to them working together, and to see how these women as wives and home builders could bring their husbands to see some of the positives that the program was meant to bring to the table. It was a short 6-8 months program. COVID stretched it. The ZAMAN LAFIYA women were originally was an all-Christian women group. Let me very quickly state that the Agatu women themselves are predominantly Christians, and the wives of the pastoralists are largely Muslim women. But over the time of this intervention, what we now have is Muslim women in groups. While this intervention was ongoing, WhatsApp became accessible to them by, I would say, just a stroke of luck. While we were collecting data, somebody suggested that why don't we have a small WhatsApp group, because a lot of those women across both faiths were meeting for the very first time. So if you left them after the training, there was also that possibility that everybody goes back to their shell. So even if they were going to go back, there was something that binded them together. And that was how WhatsApp was inculcated into the project. What we did was add these women, both Christian and Muslim women, into that platform, and including a few, in fact, 2 men who were part of the traditional council to be admins in the group, where they could act not just in terms of furtherance of the peace process, but also act as an early warning, early response mechanism. As of the ending of the project, they already had 15 active members who were able to exchange not just information, they are able to tackle their thought processes, and it's been very helpful in terms of sending them psychosocial healing, trauma materials. We're talking about local settlements where technology wasn't even there. They didn't even have the minimum requirements such as identification cards, validation cards. So even having the phone get to them was a problem itself. We had to use city structures to get that across to them. And there's always been that bad perception towards technology. It's like COVID and misinformation and disinformation. So we've had to battle with the fact that some of the husbands want to be the one in custody of the mobile handsets. They want to see what the women are doing. Getting that mutual relationship going on the basis of trust between not just husbands and wives, husbands of herders, husbands of farmers. There was that initial apprehension. We created an informal setting that even though it was a program for women, their husbands could be able to get into those spaces and see what their wives, who were of diverse backgrounds, were doing to bring peace together. And then also, we're still looking to getting some little grants here and there to be able to sustain them in terms of building a collective, stronger cooperative system where they can even have stipends for mobile data, which is relatively expensive for them. So these are some of the challenges. And of course, when you have recurrent skirmishes and killings in some surrounding villages, it's very easy to see people bring up all those old narratives. So far, in the community itself, hostilities had ceased, which was as a result of this program. So we're thinking of replicating it to see how we can further push this across villages that didn't benefit from the initial project. One of the groundbreaking moments was the fact that from inception, we made them understand that this is your program. You're going to own it. This is for you to develop a system that works for you, that tackles the problem that that is yours. It's basically a LAF model. So it's not a donor-driven intervention. The LAF model is a community-driven process. When you have generations of conflicting parties that have never seen eye to eye, sit down in one places, bring their husbands and young sons together to have conversation, it's always a big achievement for a lot of us. And again, very important for us is for the women going back to work together on new initiatives. They have set up a cooperative where they are now economically empowering themselves. Women are gradually being recognized in a country where gender sensitivity and gender equality is not a conversation. We've not just worked as us. We've worked with a coalition of networks. Funding has come from Peace Direct. It's gone through Tri-Center. It's been managed by ZAMAN LAFIYA Women through Hanan Foundation. So you're talking about 4 organizations coming together to put in all their effort and expertise, build capacity for a community. And that's, for us, the way to go. The future of peace building